When two enemies are talking, they're not fighting, they're talking. It's when the talking ceases that the ground becomes fertile for violence.
Rights and duties are the basis of a just and equal society. They are not abstract ideals, they are both principles that guarantee freedom, justice, and democracy.
But for all of history, these claims have been challenged, eroded, and even rejected. This is one of the darkest periods of American past in the history of the growth and rule of the Ku Klux Klan. Organization that consistently denied out rights for individuals and shamefully dodged its duty for care for the majority of society. The reconstructions of modern times, the Klan's depredations have been a cautionary tale about the instability of democracy and the threat to democracy posed by bigotry and hatred-based ideologies. Drawing on history and the insights of both investigative journalism and civil rights documentation, we will expose how the Klan's activities represent the ongoing tensions between liberty and the duty that exists in America.
The Ku Klux Klan arose out of the ruins of the Civil War. Founded in Pulaski, Tennessee in 1865, when previously deprived African Americans were beginning to take their place as citizens, the Klan became a rebellion force against the forward motion. Its origins are in the efforts of Confederate veterans to keep white supremacy at all cost. Reconstruction violence was systematic, accounted for by historians to have comprised more than 2,000 cases of terror. These included lynchings, burning houses, and other mass killings directed at preventing African Americans from voting, owning properties, or being integrated into society. In states such as Mississippi and Louisiana, where a proportion of black political participation was also large. The violence was especially severe. The federal government attempted to combat Klan violence with Enforcement Acts of 1870 and 1871, which criminalized voter intimidation and allowed federal troops to intervene. However, these efforts were short-lived. By 1877, federal troops withdrew from South, leaving African Americans vulnerable to widespread oppression.
Following a period of silence at the late 19th century, the Ku Klux Klan underwent a booming rebirth in the early 20th century. By 1920, the organization had rebranded itself to appeal to the broader base of white Americans. The Second Klan, as it was actually, was a different group than its Reconstruction, for instance, but it was closely maintaining its focus on white supremacy.
The Second Klan attempted to make its presence in the community more accepted by the mid-1920s. It boasted a membership of over 4 million, including notable judges, politicians. Unlike the secrecy of the First Klan, the Rebirth Klan often held public parades, sponsored community events, and aligned itself with anti-immigrant, anti-Catholic, and anti-Semitic values. Sweeping the nation, they construed their behavior as an executive of a burden to the protection of American values. Influence of law to racism was at the heart of the Klan strategy. Klan-affiliated legislators in their bodies of law passed and enforced disaffiliating laws against black and immigrant people. The Brennan Center has observed this mechanism buried in what appears to be the legal process, poll, and literacy taxing in the design of their case. Those laws designed to exclude certain races from enjoyment of citizenship benefits. The Klan's role in legal and institutional systems. The Klan's activity extended beyond overt acts of terror. They not only protected their own gain from penalties, but also employed their fellow members in affiliating local law enforcement and political positions. The PBS report on police officers who are the part of the police department and explain how and why such a vicious cycle still exists today. During the Civil Rights period, FBI activity revealed the extent to which the KKK penetrated local police departments. For instance, it can result in crimes going unpunished, such that crimes against black people take place and can empower the white supremacist. In the 1960s, the FBI conducted investigations into the Klan that unearthed widespread collaborations between the law enforcement agents and the Klan. This collision was not confined to the South police departments throughout the country. Held members associated with the white supremacist groups. This enabled the Klan to operate free from legal constraints. Perhaps most famously, the Ku Klux Klan has been responsible for acts of violence toward Black Americans and other minority populations, with the intent of prosecuting them, lynching them, arson, and bombings. Also were not random but deliberate actions done to fuel the fears necessary to maintain white supremacy. It is 1963 and the Ku Klux Klan bombards the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, taking the lives of 4 schoolgirls. This appalling event contributed to the civil rights movement, but also the national spotlight on the violence of white supremacy. Resistance to the Klan came from brave individuals and organizations who risked their lives to fight for justice. Grassroots activists stood at the forefront of this fight, conducting demonstrations, voters registration, and community preparedness activities. For example, organizations from which the Southern Poverty Law Center played a pivotal role in the collapse of the Klan. It has not been 100% effective in doing so. The SPLC helped to expose the Klan's actions and brought civil justice and settlements to victims of hate crimes throughout the years. Though the physical presence of the Klan diminished as an organization group, the ideology it represents continues to resent within certain law enforcement groups. The news are cited as published in the PBS NewsHour, AP News, illustrating the presence of white supremacists in police ranks, ranging all the way from active duty police to veterans. Current trends in police reform, including the Black Lives Matter movement, highlight that the ongoing problems of racial prejudice and violence within policing. The way to meaningfully change is long and difficult. The continuing battle to undo the Klan's legacy from law enforcement can only be achieved through not just new policy, but complete reconstruction of how police engage with communities. Education is the lock to stop hatred mills. Teaching the history of the Klan and its impact is essential not only for understanding the past, but for shaping a better future. Community activists remains a powerful force for change. The tactics used to resist the Klan's organizing and protesting are still relevant today. Black Lives Matter, for example, demonstrates the power of the community-based force to disrupt systematic injustice and build resilience. Advancement depends not just on good legislation, but also on political determination to apply it. The FBI's historical investigations underscore the importance of accountability and justice in eradicating hate. The history of the Ku Klux Klan stands as a powerful indictment of how fragile rights and responsibilities can be in democratic polity, but it also has a testament to strength, bravery, and the ongoing fight for justice. By learning from this past, we must act in accordance to ensure that the rights are universally respected and responsibilities are acted upon. It is necessary for us to push against division that may still pose a danger to our society. Let us honor those who fought for their rights, those who resisted, and those who continue to struggle today. The struggle for civil rights and social justice is not over yet, and it starts with each of us.